Heyo, Omnicats and Omnikittens. It's Omnidog here with a overview and review of Madman Library Edition Volume 2. This was requested by Jose from Singapore, so this goes out to you, buddy. But I think everybody can benefit from learning a little bit about Madman, why he's so interesting. This is his second library edition. He's a personal favorite of mine. And maybe just by going through it, you'll see some of the stuff you have learned that Mike Allred is capable of. But in this volume, you'll see a lot of other interpretations of him. And let's get going. I'll do an overview, and I've read it, so I can review it alongside the overview. So we've got a very colorful first page, and looks the inside part looks just like the cover. So let's take care of the cover. Oh, this is good. While we're up here, let's check this out. The binding and a ribbon. I always like a ribbon. So here's the ribbon. And the binding looks very good. It's very well constructed from Dark Horse. Nice binding there. And whoop, boink. Just put this whole thing out of view. Okay, so let's get going before I ruin the whole thing. Here we go. Madman, yes, we know it's Madman. Ah, here we go. An excellent table of contents, starting with Madman Comics 11 through 20. Now these are primarily, you'll see as I go through, in continuity, it is more of Frank Einstein trying to find out who he is and what he was previously and what he is now. Then what we've got is a big collection of really great stuff. Superman, Madman, Hullabaloo, Nexus meets Madman, Madman the Jam, Madman King Size Super Groovy Special with various contributors. Who Killed Madman? By this is great. It's a satire on the Powers collection, the Powers book. Madman All New Giant Size Super Ginchy Special with On the Road by Matt Kint written, which is really funny. I'll show it to you. Detour to Armenia from 20th Anniversary Monster. Exquisite Corpse. And there's a group that I have the 7-inch from, Red Rocket 7. So I'm getting lost in everything. Look at this picture by Alex Ross. Wow. So I won't go, I'm not going to tell you the entire story, but the first few issues are various adventures and things that Frank and his crew go through. If you've read Volume 1, you'll know who they are. Professor Phlegm, and they're searching for Dr. Buffard, who's evolved past everything, and his brain's gotten to be... Dr. Buffard is who created Frank, reanimated his corpse, but that's when Frank lost all his memories. So he has various friends that are involved in this. He can fly using a jetpack, like his alien buddy here. And the first first few issues are learning through his adventures more and more about who he is. And it gets very philosophical, of course, at times, because wondering who you are leads to the thoughts of, what am I supposed to do here? What are my responsibilities? What's it all about? Why am I the way that I am? And what's my purpose? I think that's the big thing. What's his purpose? He meets a guy that is a little too good to be true, maybe. He wants to help Frank financially, and I am the favor man. He becomes an important character. And of course, here are the G-Men from Hell that are all Mike Mattress and some other guys. I forget the other guy's name, but it'll come to me because there's a lot of of the G-Men from Hell. They're clearly dead here, back from hell. They're trying to make good on their lives so they don't go back to hell, but they do it in the worst ways, and so they're hilarious, hilariously stupid. And if I'm not mistaken, this book includes their origin, how they end up coming back from hell. The exit of Dr. Buffard. So, actually, this looks like Conan and Andy. I never picked up on that before. Various government agencies want to get their hands on Frank. Various wild people end up showing up. You know, it's a comic that is constructed for, I think, general fun, but you learn along the way about what the important things are in life. Frank is trying to learn who he is and who he should be, and his love with Joe seems to be able to withstand anything. And I find that really fun, his relationship with Joe. So I swear this looks like Conan and Andy, and I'm sure it's supposed to. So let's get to, here's some more of the first issues. And we learn a little bit more about the Doctor and a little bit more about Frank. Here's some more, the first issues. And if you're a Madman fan, you will love the first issues that are in this book. It continues to help Frank along with his search, but it also puts him in some pretty funny places. He gets marooned on an island where there's a mermaid that speaks only Spanish. And it talks about what a heavenly place this island is that he's washed up. I was tempted to Google translate these things that she says. My high school Spanish, amor, I guess, love, muchos amigos, del fondo del mar, something about the sea. I don't know. I should have used Google Translate, but you can do that. I'm sure it will contribute more to the story, or contribute. So she's also giving birth because she's pregnant. And the sea creatures all speak Spanish. I really need to Google Translate these. Please don't, in the comments, start to translate for me. It's okay. I can figure it out myself. Thank you. But I love this particular issue. Let me go to the beginning. What the? Okay. Frank's Holidays Adventures, where he ends up meeting, this is Halloween that they're going through here, and it looks like he meets up with some beatniks. They're the street beatniks are his complete nemesis. But then, okay, Snappy Happy Thanksgiving. But my favorite one is where they end up saving Santa Claus, the real dude. He is a homeless person, I believe. I'm a retired elf. Yeah, wait, let's catch this. Here he is. Santa Claus has lost his memory and is in like a homeless place. But they find him and they get him back to the North Pole, and it is a super great, super fun story in the Madman Holidays special. So I really dug that. And here's where we learn more about the G-Men from Hell. And look at that. There's all kinds of boss pinups by all kinds of famous illustrators and creators. So, the G-Men from Hell. Yeah, here we go. The G-Men are bad guys. They're G-Men. They're government men. And they've lived a bad life, and they end up going to hell and escaping, and that's when they end up with the red eyes. They think that if they do enough good on Earth, they can go to heaven, but they're not very good at being good. They still have a huge problem with Madman, and that's not going to help them. But it's funny and well-written and really interesting to find out all about what's going on behind the G-Men from Hell. It's a great story. I really, really dug it. After that comes the crossovers. Sorry, I'm blanking on the name of the word when you cross over, and it's called crossovers. Superman and Madman Hullabaloo. Man and Super Madman. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't read it before. I'm not going to spoil any of these crossovers. If you're familiar with Superman, you'll understand. If you're familiar with Superman and Madman, you'll understand all of it. And if not, you'll just have fun reading it. Then we go to, after the Superman one, we come to the Nexus one. Now, I remember reading Nexus back in the 90s, so I had a reasonable understanding of what was going on. It's self-explanatory enough for you to understand it too, so don't worry about that. Here's a great pinup of Nexus and Madman. I don't think you need to have any prior knowledge. I don't even remember if I ever read this. I remember reading Nexus, so I wouldn't worry about this. I read it fine. It made a reasonable amount of sense with me and was totally fun that he would meet a group from a completely separate comic. So I dug it, and I think you will too. Now oh yeah, in this one I forgot. They are talking a lot about Elvis and Michael Jackson. I don't know about the Michael Jackson stuff, if it ages quite well, but it's not off-putting enough so that you can't keep watching it. Reading it. Now here's Madman and the Jam. No idea who these guys are. I never read it. I didn't know about it, but it's very cool and intelligent. They visit the house of Escher, and if you know MC Escher, he's famous for drawing the stairs. One of his famous drawings, the stairs that go everywhere on the page, different stairs going everywhere, and they're like living inside an MC Escher maze. I don't know who the Jam is. You actually can feel free to tell me who the Jam is, because I'm not going to look that up. But you guys can. And it's a very trippy, very, very interesting, wild story about how Frank helps MC Escher find his wife again. So I dug it. I enjoyed it a lot. Then we come up to... Oh, is this more of the... No, wait a minute. This is... Okay, now this gives you a little bit more of Frank's history here, where he came from, for a second. Then it goes into a different comic drawn by the guest artist. Didn't know anything about the guest artist, but I totally understood this Madman part. And then we go, this is still part of the jam, I think. And then we go back into this Mr. Excitement, where it leads right to his reading Mr. Excitement with Joe. And then this is story and art by Nick Darrington with colors by Han Allred. The art is great and the story is interesting. And these are Little Madman. These are great stories. And don't worry about it that it's not Mike Allred and Laura Allred. These are interpretations that work. I enjoyed all of these different artists' interpretations of them, of Madman. You can tell through these interpretations that people in the industry genuinely love Mike and Laura Allred and Madman. He is well respected. Madman may not be the most popular character that everybody knows, but Mike and Laura Allred are well enough respected that people, I think, are really excited to contribute to any kind of Madman special with their interpretations of him. And their interpretations of him are spot on. They understand the character. You're not going to get Madman in a suit and tie trying to battle Lex Luthor for power in Metropolis. These are flipped out and interesting stories, but when I say flipped out, easily readable and show the love that other creators have for him. Now, the ultimate show of this is Powers' Who Killed Madman disclaimer, and it's Brian Michael Bendis saying that he's apologizing to everybody that he jammed up in this. This Powers book is not only a satire on Powers, but it makes references to look, that guy from Dark Horse, we're here from Image, and this is an Oni book. And it took DC and Marvel 10 years to figure out how to do JLA Avengers. So it's all about crossovers within this universe. Brian Michael Bendis does a great job of bringing in a lot of characters from a lot of the indie universe. I recognize the Red Star, some of whom you may or may not recognize, but Bendis uses the investigation by this couple from Powers to make fun of everybody in the industry. And it's really, really funny. It's really great. So then we get back to Mike and Laura Allred. If I should live to see the day I die. This is one of my favorite stories in the book, because he falls down a hole that seems to go on forever. And he's alone with his thoughts, and his thoughts are bounce from pizza to very philosophical. This is the part of Madman I don't think people understand, is that Madman himself is very philosophical, as I've already said 42 times during this. So this is, and here's a funny reference at the very end. Who's drawing this and who wrote it? But Joe is getting bummed out at a group called Death Cab for Ugly. I love Death Cab for Cutie, and I thought this was a funny little novella, teeny story on Madman going to a Death Cab for Ugly concert. So the book, and then we finish with some more Madman stuff. Detour to Armenia from the 20th anniversary monster. And look at this boss, John Cassaday drawing. And then the back is full of really... Al Columbia did a pinup. Al Columbia doesn't leave his house. I don't think he has a phone. Nobody knows anything about him. I worship his work. He did Pim and Francie. He's also done a couple other things that I have. He's the oddest and artist creator out there in America today, maybe the world. His output is irregular and strange, and he wants to contribute. Somebody got him to contribute to Madman. That says it all to me, that they got Al Columbia to do that. But here's some more really boss pinups by different artists: Jeff Darrow, Dave Cooper, Phil Noto, with Madman and It Girl from the Atomics, the rock group, and it's just a blast. I don't see anything wrong with this book. This is a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 2 thumbs up, love it book. I think if you're a Madman fan, you have to have this. If you're not a Madman fan, I think you're doing yourself a disservice by at least not checking out digitally the first 10 or 15 issues that give you an idea of what happened to him and why I think he's so fun. One thing I forgot to say is what makes Madman so special. He has psionic sort of abilities with his mind. He can learn things about a person by touching them, sees the future in his dreams, and awake. So he has mind powers now that he didn't have. His physical powers are he can learn really fast, faster than anybody else, and master whatever he learns. He's got superior agility and reflexes. See, he can't fly, he needs a rocket pack. He has been enhanced, though, a little bit, so that he is able to... Good grief, look at this by Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba. Now that's cool. Sorry, I got sidetracked. But those are some of his abilities. So do yourself a favor. As I said, check it out, because this dog digs it to the max. And I think you might, guys out there who are willing to experiment, need to try the first few issues and see if it's for you. If it's not for you, no problem. I got 400 other books that I'm getting ready to review. Stay tuned. Peace and love. Peace and love. Thank you all so much for being the greatest fans and viewers in the world. I love making videos for you. Take care. Be good to each other, please. Peace and love. Peace and love. Oh, yeah. Like, subscribe, and go to Organic Price Books for $2 off with the code Omnidog. And Omnidog Ship It Together gets you 5% off your order if you ship 3 or more books. So right on, right on, right on. Peace and love. Peace and love.